Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Juliana. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the story of Rebekah in the Bible. I hope you stay tuned to the end and I'm sure you're going to be blessed by this video. It all starts from Genesis chapter 24. It tells us there about Abraham being very old, and he called in the oldest servant in the house and said to him that he wanted him to go back to his own home country where he came from to get a wife for his son Isaac. And that when he's getting a wife for his son, he should make sure that he doesn't get him any of the Canaanite women to marry, because he doesn't want him to marry one of them. And he also said he can't take Isaac with him. So he needs to, whosoever, when he gets the woman, he needs to bring her to the house there. And the servant, he made the servant to swear, and he also prayed with the servant. And the servant, when the servant was to go, he took with him 10 camels and some servants with him, and he went. And so when he got to the well side, he also prayed a prayer. The servant now prayed and said, "O God of my master Abraham, grant me speed in getting a wife for your servant Isaac." And he also was specific about his prayers. He said to God that whosoever he asks for water, that gives him water, should also give waters to the camels. So that is how he will get to know that that's the wife that God has ordained for Isaac. So while he was just as he was about to finish the prayer, here is Rebekah coming, because at that well side, daughters of men come in there to get water. So the Rebekah came in, got water for herself, about to go. He ran to meet her to say, "Can I have water to drink?" She gave him water. She also decided that on her own self that she was going to feed the camels with water. And she made sure that she gave the camels water till they were satisfied. Camels drink a lot of water. So she did that, and the servant was just looking at her, and he said to her, asked her who her parents are, and she said, "Oh, she was from Naboth. Naboth is Abraham's brother, and that's the family she came from." And that he just knew that definitely this is the plan of God, this is the will of God. He asked her that if there was space in her father's house for them to stay, and she said yes, there was space. And she ran home. She met her brother. Her brother asked her questions, where she got the jewelry from. She explained what her encounter, and this man came into the house to see the family, so they welcomed him. They were trying to give him something to eat and everything. He said no, he wanted to deliver his message. What he was sent to do, he wanted to deliver. So he explained to them the situation, how Abraham had sent him into the city there to get a wife for his son Isaac. And he explained everything to them, and how it is definitely God's plan for Rebekah to be Isaac's wife. And they agreed with what he had said, and definitely knew that it was God's plan. And he asked Rebekah if she was going to follow him back to his country to meet Isaac, and Rebekah was fine with it, because she definitely knew it was God's plan. And she went. So when she was going, she went with the nurse. That was the next day, and they went. And when they were about to get there, here's Isaac in the field meditating, and immediately Rebekah saw him. She asked the servant and said, "Who is that young man there?" And he told her that it was Isaac that was there. And she took the veil, because she had a veil, she covered her face. And the word of God tells us in Genesis chapter 24, verse 66 and 65, it says, and the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So that was how Isaac married Rebekah. It gets to 25, Genesis 25. It talks about how Rebekah was barren, and Isaac prayed to God concerning it, and God answered the prayers, and Rebekah conceived. And it says the children in her womb struggled. So Rebekah went ahead to inquire of the Lord why the children in her womb struggled. And then if you go to Genesis 25, verse 23, it says, "And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one shall serve the younger, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." And Rebekah knew that, And at the end of the day, when they had the kids, Esau came out first. He was very hairy, and Jacob came out second. So that was their names. And then it tells us, when you go to Genesis chapter 26, it tells us about, there was a time in Gerar that and Isaac and Rebekah were there. And when the men of the city asked Isaac that, who is this lady, this woman? And he said to them that is his sister, because she was so beautiful, and he felt that he didn't want a case that they would kill him because of Rebekah. And then one day Abimelech was looking through the window, and he saw Isaac and Rebekah together so close, and he felt that he spotted them together, and he felt that this cannot be his sister, because it's definitely his wife. And he asked Isaac about it, and Isaac said yes, it is his wife. He was just scared in case they would kill him because of his wife. So Abimelech announced to everyone to say, look, don't touch these people, their husband and wife, just leave them. And the word of God says that Isaac prospered in that land. If you go to Genesis 27, it talks about Isaac now was very, very old now, and he was blind, he couldn't see anything. I decided to call his oldest son Esau to get him some venisons the way he likes it, that he should go in to hunt for animal, make him venisons and bring it to him so that he might bless him. And one thing I'll say is that I didn't mention earlier was that Esau was someone, he was a hunter. He was someone that was always like going to get some meat, make nice venisons for his father. They like maybe one of those things that his father liked in him. It was like that. And Jacob was not like that. Jacob was kind of like mainly maybe the homebody one, the one that is always like maybe at home with his mom or something. And but I know that Esau was the hunter. Anyway, so on this day now, Isaac had told him to go and do that. And while he said that to him, Rebekah heard it and decided to call Jacob and said, look, your father has decided that he wants to bless your brother. You go into the you go in and get the flocks, get me two kid goats and kill it. We will kill it, you kill it, and we would I'll cook it the way your father likes it, and you take it to your father so that he can bless you. And Jacob said, wow, Jacob said, oh no, because the father might realize that he's Jacob and he might get a curse for it. And the mother said, no, let the curse be upon her, that he should do it, that he should listen to him, like, I'm your mother talking to you, listen, that kind of thing. And Jacob obeyed his mother, and she cooked it the way he would like the meat and everything. And Jacob went in there. Before he went, what they did was that she wore Esau's clothes, for one of Esau's nice clothes for Jacob. Jacob wore that, and she also took the animal's skin and kept it on Jacob and his hand and everything. So by the time the father, when he gets there and the father touches him, he will think that he had Esau with him. So by the time he got there, the father now said, oh, you're so quick that you've done this, so that you cooked this, you got the animal and everything. And he said yes, that he found favor with God, that God granted him speed and everything, and that was why. And when he was talking, Isaac felt that this is Jacob because of his voice. But when he touched his skin, he realized that he's hairy, that's definitely this is Esau. So he was deceived, he wasn't sure, so he just blessed, he thought it was Esau anyway. So he blessed him and said in Genesis chapter 27, verse 27, it says, see the smell of my son, it smells like the field that the Lord has blessed. Therefore God give him the dew of heaven, the fatness of earth, plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve him, let nations bow down to him. Be Lord over thy brethren. Let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, blessed be everyone that blesseth thee. And he blessed him. And Jacob went. And when Esau came back now, he's made the venisons the way the father liked it, and now called his father to bless him. And his father was scared. He was like, wow, who did I? It was jittery. He was like, who did I bless now? And everything. At the end of the day, they found out that it was Jacob. And Esau was Esau was begging. He begged his father, please, whatever blessing you have, give me, bless me. And the father said he had no blessing, that indeed Jacob is already blessed. He has blessed him already. And he now said, the next thing he was to say was like, he would have to serve his younger brother. So Esau was so angry that he said that he was going to kill his brother Jacob. And when Rebekah heard about the plan of Esau, she felt that she didn't want to lose the two of her kids, and she now said to Jacob that he should go to Haran, where her brother is Laban, and stay there for a while till his brother cools down. And that was how Jacob left. I would say she paid for it in a way, because after then she never saw her son till she died. In fact, she died. She didn't see her son till he died, and probably she didn't have a relationship with Esau because of what she had done. if I summarize the whole story, the kind of woman Rebekah was a very loving woman. She was a hardworking woman. She was someone that loved God and served God. Because one of the things I'll say is that when the servant of Abraham went and told her that she had to follow him, and this is definitely God's plan, she didn't doubt her, but she didn't even have to think about it or doubt it. She just followed and went after the will of God. So that's how we got to know about Rebekah, and we're talking about Rebekah today, learning from her. She was a very kind person. I mean, not only was she when she was doing that, when she was feeding the camels or giving them water, she never thought of anything was going to come out of it. But she just did her own. That's to show that that's the kind of person she was. And to show how loving she was, even when her husband met her, he was comforted, because he was still sad about his mother dying. He was comforted when he met her. She must definitely have been a good wife for Isaac. And then Isaac loved her. They both loved each other. I loved her so much and she definitely was a good wife, that Isaac didn't even have any other wife apart from Rebekah. That's another thing. And then you could see that she served God. She definitely served God. She had the fear of God in her. She served God in the sense that when the children in her womb struggled, she went on to inquire of the Lord that what is going on here, and God told her the reason. So that shows that. But at the end of it, she changed, in the sense that, when I say at the point of where she deceived her husband, and also was trying to, was she trying to help God, in the sense that, because God had already said that the older will serve the younger, she should have just allowed God to do it the way he wanted it to be played, the way he wanted it to be done, because he has his ways. He said that's how it's going to be, then that's how it will be. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can hinder it. Nobody. But she went ahead to go and to do what she wasn't supposed to do. She also, so that she did wrongly, and because of that, I believe she paid for it, in the sense that she didn't, her favorite son, she didn't have any relationship with him again after that day. She didn't see him again. And because when Jacob left to Haran, he stayed there for 20 years before he left. And after then, he was leaving. He now met his brother on the way. They made peace with each other. Esau didn't kill him at the end of the day. So she didn't get to experience whether they made peace or not. She didn't get to know anything about that. She didn't have any relationship with her kids again, I believe. And so that was the part that I would say wasn't a nice part of her. But it just shows that sometimes we all human beings, that's one thing about human beings, we all serve God. There are times that you go through situations and then your faith is like, is he going to do or he's not going to do? But you just have, that's why we have the word of God now. We have the Bible to back it up, to tell us what's the promise of God. Well, as he said it, he will do it. All you need to do is to keep meditating on the word of God, and keep studying his word, and keep praying, and he will definitely grant you your heart desire. Remember, you have to also be holy, walk righteously as well, and God will definitely grant you your heart desire. I hope one thing also to learn from this is that for parents as well, that you should all love your child equally. It shouldn't be a case that your children can see that you love this person more than the other. So you could see that would have been the kids, Jacob and Esau would have noticed that while they were younger, that, oh, mom loved Jacob more, Isaac loved Esau more. That would have been noticed as well in one way. But you shouldn't love them to the extent of, like, what she did. It was obvious that Jacob was her favorite, and she didn't even think about what she had done, that she had offended God at that point, and also her husband, she had deceived her husband as well, which was wrong of her. And the first thing that in her life, as a person, as a child of God, God should come in your life first, then as husband second, then the kids are going third, like that. But she didn't play it like that way. Her child was like the favorite at that point, even favorite before even God, because she took her child more important than even God at that time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and do have a nice day.